What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. I'll talk about what's happening with Tesla sales, what you should be watching for as the market is trying to push right now. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposits $2,000, and you're guaranteed 30. The offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with this market. So, as far as Tesla's going, we have an inverse head and shoulders like structure that is developing. And in order for us to really break out, I want to see us get back above 362. I do believe Tesla will test that very soon. If we break that, I think we could be pushing closer to about 370. And we'll see if we break past that or not. But I want to talk about some news that's coming out and why we're seeing Nvda leading the market up right now. We had some big news. So starting off with Tesla, we saw Elon Musk meet up with Modi, the Prime Minister of India, just a couple of days ago. And as a result, Tesla is going to be hiring for a lot of roles in Mumbai, India. But also seeing more recruitment efforts, especially with some new roles that are coming out. There's about 13 new roles based in Mumbai. And then they also are seeing a new relationship that's being built right now, which I think could be expanding as time goes on. Now, there haven't been too many talks about Tesla potentially building a gigafactory in India yet, but this could change over time, especially as they see a very, very big amount of demand for not only EVs, but engineers and factors like that. There's still talks about that, but it's not guaranteed quite yet. Despite that, we're starting to see a lot more hiring roles that are coming out, and the relationship continues to improve between Tesla and India. So it's a good piece of news. However, I am seeing a lot of negative headlines, about Tesla at the same time about how their EV sales are just behind those of BYD. Like I said before, guys, I don't really like to compare the companies. BYD sells more vehicles overall when you look at the full numbers, but when you zoom in and you actually look at their overall EV sales, they're actually neck and neck. BYD did surpass Tesla somewhat in Q4 of 2024 in terms of the overall sales, and they also did possibly outsell Tesla in January. So, we're seeing a lot of these headlines just comparing them and doing this and that. I personally like to say that I just don't like to compare Tesla with too many of these EVs. I just think that they're all growing in their different ways, and that we should just focus on Tesla itself. Look at how Tesla's growing relative to its own sales. BYD is a different company with a different markets. And then even if BYD does outsell Tesla, it doesn't necessarily make it better in every single way. You have to always remember that there's more to Tesla when it comes to developing their Optimus robots and their own FSD. And I'm not trying to, compare them in like full details. I'm just trying to make it very clear that it just doesn't make sense to compare them, right? Solely based off EV sales, which is what lots of these headlines are doing. So, like I said before, don't worry too much about all these headlines that are saying BYD surpasses Tesla and this and that. Both Tesla and BYD are great companies. They're very different in a lot of different ways. So it just doesn't make too much sense to me. So keep that in mind. Anyways, today is Tuesday, February 18th. There's not really much data coming up. We have Dowley giving a speech at 10:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we have some bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. Keep in mind, tomorrow we have the FOMC minutes report coming out, so I will talk more about that. But besides that, there's nothing else that's too crazy. And then for earnings, I didn't see anything that was too significant. We do have Etsy in a couple of days, not to mention Alibaba and Walmart. But what's helping the market is this news right here. Morgan Stanley is saying to buy Nvda ahead of earnings. So earnings is about a little bit over a week away from now. There's a lot of hype right now, a lot of buyers who are coming in as a result, and this is what's helping the share price push. And that's also what's helping the market also to a much larger extent. So despite what's going on with federal workers, layoffs, and factors like that, guys, the market is doing fine. It's not really affecting things for those who are asking me. We're still looking bullish despite that. So for Tesla stock, as long as you don't end up losing support at 354 and 348, we favor the upside. I anticipate we're going to be pushing for 362. If that breaks, we're going to be looking for an attempt to get closer to 370. We have an inverse head shoulders like pattern, and we are favoring the upside, so please keep that in mind. As far as SPY is going, we're looking bullish. So I was talking about the possibility of us getting a small dip first before we break out higher. We actually skipped that dip so far. Unless we end up losing the 611s, then yes, it's possible we come back down to fill this gap over here before we try to bounce. But nonetheless, we still look very bullish, and there's no sign of us losing 611 yet. We actually are looking quite strong. So if we continue to break past 612.5, we ultimately have the potential to go up to about 615 to 616. SPY still looks very bullish and it's breaking new all-time highs. I was bullish. I did say we might dip first before it tries to bounce. Instead, we're just breaking out for now. So as long as SPY does not lose 611, if we do lose it, we might come back down to fill the gap between the 608s and 609s before it tries to bounce. But as long as we're above 611, we're favoring 612.5 and eventually 615 as our targets. We're still looking more bullish, and this is favoring upside right now. Whether we get a small dip or not, this is still looking quite bullish. On the QQQ, it's looking bullish. We ended up just surpassing the all-time high. We didn't actually dip first and then do it. We're actually going to be looking for us to try to hold above 540. As long as that holds, we could be looking for 542.5 or above. For the Russell 2000, we are starting to push higher. We're looking for a wedge to develop right here. So as long as we're above 226.5, we're favoring an attempt to get back up to 228. Doing a great job so far. The Russell, sorry, not the Russell, ES is looking bullish. We are going to likely attempt to get back up towards these all-time highs, so it has more upside potential. I don't even think it's done yet. It might consolidate a bit before it starts to continue to push for 61, 68. NQ is looking bullish, looking for 22,400 as a potential target. This is looking bullish. I think it's going to be a visiting all-time highs, which could help the QQQ push more. Bitcoin's going to be testing 96,780. If we break there, we're looking for a bigger push for 98,000. So give this the time that it needs. For Nvda, we're looking quite good right here. We're trying to push higher. It's doing a great job at holding up. Nvidia is coming up to fill this gap. We're actually very close to that gap fill right now. So we'll be watching to see if we can break past 142. If we do that, we're looking for 143.75 as our next potential target, and eventually into like the 148. So I'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case. If we lose 140, we're looking for that gap down to about 138.6, but it still looks more bullish, and the 142 plus area is very possible. Once again, for Tesla, if we break 362, we're looking for a much bigger push, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. For for Apple, not coin, we're bullish. Might consolidate a bit here before it tries to blast off for about 148, so I think it's doing a good job so far. Now going to coin, we are very flat right now. We might see some consolidation between 277 and 270 flats, just kind of consolidating before it tries to bounce back up to about 280. For Amazon, we're looking for 230. If that breaks, I'm looking for 231.75, so it might be a small push. Meta's bullish. We have tough resistance at 740. As long as we don't lose 726, we might consolidate here and then continue to push around 745. Microsoft, if we break past 410, we're looking for an attempt for 412. So long as we don't end up losing 407, I think we're favoring the 410s and eventually 412s as our potential targets. I think Alphabet has an inverse head and shoulders here. We were talking about this yesterday. If we break 189, we're looking for an attempt to break out for 191 plus. There's potential in this to reverse. Watch us see if we get back above 189 to really start pushing. So keep that in mind. With that being said, guys, Tesla's looking bullish. We have a nice inverse head and shoulders like pattern. This has a lot more upside potential if we could break 362. So I do expect us to test that. And we'll see if Tesla breaks past that or not. With that being said, I thank you for listening. Have a good day, guys. I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.